I am so excited to share our honeymoon plans with everyone. A video that I meant to do months ago, but planning a wedding, things just got busy. But we have been planning this honeymoon for quite some time. We were thinking where's something we want to go on a honeymoon. Well, ultimately Fiji was my first choice, but then it's like $5,000 per person just to fly there, and then like $800 a night. So anyways, I was like, okay, no, that's a little outside of our budget. However, we knew that we wanted to do something big, like a once in a lifetime experience, because it was our honeymoon. We're saying, like, as much as I wanted like a relaxing beach vacation, I was like, Hawaii, that's something a little bit more doable for us to do on a vacation in a couple years from now or something. I think there's a flight that goes right from my city to Hawaii direct. So I was like, that's, you know, something that we could do later. So we're like, we wanted something big and I guess, you know, pricier, so it justifies like why we're doing this, but not as expensive as Fiji, which still is my dream. But you know. So that being said, we are going on a cruise because you all know how much I love cruising, but instead of just kind of the relaxed pace of the Caribbean, which I've done 4 cruises already, we are doing a Western Mediterranean cruise. So exciting. In Europe, I've only been to a couple places. Like we went to Paris, Dan and I, and then with my family, I've been to Switzerland and Austria. But that's it. I've never been to Italy. Never. And Dan, he's been to a couple more places in Europe, especially like France, around France, but he's never been to Italy either. So the ship leaves from Rome, or Cittavice, which I still don't know how to say, but kind of, you know, an hour and a half outside of the Rome city center. We are going on a Norwegian cruise, so the Norwegian Epic, which I've only ever done Carnival, so exciting to do a different cruise line. So we're doing the Norwegian Epic, and it's interesting with that ship, they most people board from Barcelona and do the loop and get off in Barcelona, but then the second to last stop is Rome, the kind of Rome area, and that's where we're getting on. So they said only about, I think, like Cruise Critic was saying, like, I don't know my number, but it was like a third of people only like embark and disembark in Rome area. So interesting. However, we were looking at it with where would we want to spend a couple more days ahead of time, as well as then kind of going after. So we're flying into Rome this weekend, and then we're staying there for 3 days, technically like 2.5 days, because the third day we get to take our time, because I think we get to go on board the ship between like noon and 5, I guess. But we're not going to be seeing anything else in Rome. We'll have like a breakfast and tidy up, but that's it. So we're spending about 2.5 days. I guess we get there at 9 a.m. so it's practically like 3.5. But yes, we'll just go with 3 days. 3 days in Rome ahead of time. We have rented an Airbnb. Lots of great reviews. This one has a little rooftop terrace, which is so exciting, and definitely air conditioning because it's like 35 degrees Celsius, which is really hot because here, when it gets like 25, we're boiling. So getting used to it will take some time, but that's all right. And then seeing a whole bunch of stuff. So on our first day, actually, we've booked with Airbnb before. Our Paris stay was amazing. I loved the place we stayed in. And yeah, so we're booking that, and we like the idea that they have full kitchens that you can get your own food, as well as they all have like washing machines and dryer combos. So yeah, before we go on the ship, and then after we get off the ship, we will be able to wash our clothes, which is kind of nice. And so then what I haven't tried, and actually I was just, while looking at the Airbnb app, it was talking about Airbnb experiences. So essentially, I take it that just anyone can choose to be a host for a tour in their city. So I could sign up to be an Airbnb experienced host in Victoria, but I don't want to. So we're doing that, but my main reason, Dan was like, you know, it's an hour-and-a-half tour, you see 5 places, we can do that on our own. I was like, yes, however, with this guy that we're going with, it's only $20 Canadian per person, so like 15 US. And the main thing for me why I wanted to do that was because then you have someone that you trust or that you know taking your picture of places at the sites, because like everyone we've said or like talked about on our honeymoon, they all either have been pickpocketed themselves or know people who have been pickpocketed in Rome. Our close friends got their passports stolen, and someone else got their wallets, like everyone. So we're trying to be hypersensitive. And then that too, I'm not going to be like, oh, here, stranger, even if you look like a tourist, but will you take a photo of Dan and I in front of the Trevi Fountain? Well, no. So anyways, we have someone that, I mean, okay, you don't really know, but they have a ton of really good reviews on this person, and they were like, they're informative, they were really relaxed and casual, but took us to everywhere we wanted to, plus if we wanted to see somewhere else, and they offered to take our picture at every place we went to. I've read a lot of people, they've done, like, they've hired photographers to take pictures of them, professional ones, but I'm like, first of all, I don't want to spend like 200 euros for an hour photo shoot. But also, I'm like, I'm fine with them being not professional photos. So it's not always like selfies. It can be like, yeah, from a little bit of a distance from someone we trust. So I felt that was a good value for, I wanted to spend my money on that. So that's what we're doing. So then, yes, we're staying there for a couple of days. The second day we're doing full day at the Vatican, and then, yeah, other places. We still kind of have to plan all those little details. Now that the wedding's all done with, now we're kind of diving into planning those details essentially. Like, we booked airfare, cruise, all our Airbnbs, like, way in advance. However, just, yeah, what we're seeing on every single day. Because that being said, it definitely is not going to be a relaxing holiday. It's a whirlwind of stuff. So then on the last day in Rome, we make our way to the port, and then we board our ship, the Norwegian Epic, like I mentioned, and it's a 7-day cruise. We go to 6 places, maybe 5, I'll list them. And we have 1 day at sea, kind of near the end. So our first stop is Florence. So we're doing Florence, Pisa. We're doing an excursion. I think we chose one not with the cruise. Most of them we are doing with the cruise, but this one is one without. However, we did a Norwegian Cruise Line honeymoon registry, and we have a lot of generous family and friends. So we have, it pays towards an onboard credit, so you don't get the money back, but it definitely pays for all of our excursions, which we were like, oh my god, we were not expecting that. We're like, oh, if we get a couple $100 towards the excursions, that would be really good. And if we don't, that's fine. We're still going on them. We're paying for them. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So now we're like, what else can we spend there? So Dan's like, I want a massage, and I was like, I'm going to buy something for myself on the cruise. So that's really fun that we get to have that opportunity when we're not just like, yeah, have to be super budgeting. However, now I'm like, we're doing 2 excursions externally. I'm like, we should have booked those on the cruise, because then but the thing is, cruise excursions are so expensive. The last one we're going is like $450 per person. But you see a lot. It's a 10-hour excursion. So yeah, we're doing excursions every day. So we're not sleeping in. We're getting up at like 6 or 7 o'clock and making the most of our day, completely exhausted. However, we made that decision that we want to see as much as we can. I mean, I love cruising in general, but there's other times where it can be a relaxing vacation, but this is, it still costs a lot to fly there, and so we're making the most of it, and we want to pack as much in as we can. So Florence, Pisa, we're seeing the Statue of David, and then we're going to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So Dan's really into like the history and art, so he wanted to go to like the museums and things like that, and I'm like, the tower, I want to take a photo. So none of the cruise ship excursions had both of those things in one. You got to go one or the other, and we both really wanted to do both of those things. So then that's why we're doing that one externally. Yeah, so then you also see a whole bunch of other stuff as well, but you get to see both of those. So then our second stop is Cannes, France. So this one we are doing, we're doing Cannes and Nice, and we're doing, I think we take like a little, is that the one? No, maybe not. But we're doing an excursion there, just seeing things. Yes, now I forget. But yes, we're doing excursion there too. And then Mallorca, this one was one where it was our last excursion to book. All our other ones we knew right away what we wanted to do. This one we're like, do we want to have a beach day? Do we want to not? partially I think because the ship excursions are expensive. Where we want to spend $150, $120 per person to like for a 4-hour excursion. And originally when we were spending our own money, we're like, you know, maybe we'll just explore on our own. However, now that we have generous donations or generous gifts contributions, we're like, you know, we'll get more out of it if we actually go on a booked excursion. So yeah, so there we're seeing, if this is one where we're doing our own little train, I think. So yeah, we're gonna board the train and go see places. And then our next one, we are doing Barcelona in Spain. And so this one is our second one where our second one where we're doing a non-Norwegian excursion. And this one is, I think, like an 8-hour excursion. But with both of the external tour companies, they are highly recommended and like highly reviewed. Plus they have a, like in their fine print, they say if there's an error on their part that they do not get you to the ship in time, which is always like, that's always a worry when you're doing an external excursion, because if you do a Norwegian one or like a cruise organized one, if there's something wrong, the bus breaks down or something, the ship will wait for you because it's part of the cruise like excursion. However, if you go to an external one, or if you're just walking on your own and you lose track of time, the ship's not gonna wait. They're just leaving. So with this, both these companies, they have like 100% guarantee that you will make it back to the ship on time. And they say if you do not, they will pay to get you for your transportation to get you to the next port so you can go on your ship. So yeah, you lose a day. However, you're not stranded in Barcelona being like, oh my God, how am I supposed to get to Naples? You know, I think, is that my next step? Well, that's a day at sea. So perhaps that scenario would be a little tricky. However, somehow they would get you to your next port. So that's good. Yeah, so I'm happy about that. Plus, their excursion fees are like 69 euros and another one is 99 euros compared to our, which I mean, that's then in Canadian, but still it's like 300 euros for all the individual ones per person for all the cruise ship ones. So yeah, plus you get to see more. So then we go have a day at sea. We're going to, I don't know if we're going to do that on our sea day, but we want to see the Cirque du Soleil performance. It's like a dinner performance on board, so we want to do that. And Dan may get a massage. So that's our one day to sleep in. Because yeah, everything else, I think tours start at like 7:30 or 8 in the morning. So that's our one day to sleep in and relax. And then next day we are in Naples. And it's funny, my best friend, the one who's my maid of honor, she's in Naples right now. It is a big international sports tournament. I should know the name of it, but I don't. So I've been watching like her Instagram. She's been sending me pictures and it looks so cool. However, I think we miss each other by like a couple days. So she's there now already. And if we were going like in reverse, if Naples was our first stop, we would see each other. And the athletes village is actually on 2 cruise ships that are like docked in port. And she was like taking pictures like, oh, there's another cruise ship coming in, like an actual one that's going to place. And she's like, oh, what? So, oh, it would be so cool to see my best friend while in Italy. But yeah, we just miss each other by a couple days, so that's too bad. But that's okay. So then yeah, we go to Naples, and then what are we doing in Naples? So the Naples, this is our huge excursion. This is Naples and Pompeii. And Dan said like Pompeii is something that's one of his like bucket, I don't know, maybe it's not bucket list item, but it's something he really wants to see. So this one, even though it's super expensive excursion, it's totally worth it. And again, it's a 10-hour excursion. We're gonna be completely exhausted. However, it's gonna be worth it. So you see, oh yeah, Capri, Sorrento, and Pompeii. So all of that, and you got lots of fun like boat rides and yeah, just a whole bunch of other stuff and exploring. So that should be really fun. So then we dock back, and then we are taking a train across Italy to the northeastern side, and we are going to Venice because neither of us have been to Venice, and Dan said that's like a city that he really wants to see, and I do really want to see that as well, because like you never know with like global warming in 40-50 years, well, that may not be there anymore. Yeah, I'll still be old enough. I'll still be alive in 40-50 years. But you know, okay, maybe it's like 30, you just never know. So that was a big thing, and we're like, since we're so close, we might as well. Originally, we were also then thinking if we wanted to add a couple beach days in for me, so we were going to go to Croatia. However, it's just got, yeah, it's too hard to be away for so long, and then getting dog care. So we have 2 different people looking after them, living in the house for 1 week at a time. One is Dan parents, that's really, I'm happy about that, but it's an inconvenience for them. So then we're in Venice and we have another Airbnb. We left this one a little bit late. I mean, late being, we booked it in like March, whereas the other one we booked before. Because a lot of the Venice ones were a lot more expensive and then a lot smaller, and so there were a couple that we should have booked, but we didn't, and then we just weren't sure. Plus, we weren't sure exactly on the dates, because like I said, we were thinking of doing like 2.5 days or 3 days there, and then going, I think 2.5 days, and then going to Croatia. But then that was kind of up in the air, so by the time we decided, okay, we're not going to Croatia, it was like, we'll spend the 4 days in Venice, but a lot of the nicer Airbnbs, I guess, or better Airbnbs were booked up. This one still looks really nice and has tons of great reviews on it, and the hosts are really nice, and the apartment, they say, is like clean and feels safe, and I mean, that's what's most important, and air conditioning again. But I was really wanting either one like overlooking a canal or having a rooftop as well, like a terrace. So this one doesn't have either of those, but that's all right. I think I was in charge for trying to find the Airbnbs and I didn't, so my fault. That's all right. So yeah, so then we're doing that, spending a couple days there. There is a beach, Lido, that is like right by Venice-ish. That's close enough to get to, so if we do need like an afternoon of relaxation, so I can have my beach time on the honeymoon, then maybe we will do that. Like, plus, I mean, the cruise ship has pools and things like that. But again, some ships or excursions are like 10 hours, so it's a busy day. And then we're flying home. So yeah, I'm excited to see all of those places, and I definitely, even though it's ridiculously expensive, but I was like, I do want a gondola ride in Venice, just ultimate tourist thing, but I totally want that. So again, we're seeing what we want to budget and spend our money on, so that way too expensive. However, again, when in Venice, you gotta do that, so, in my opinion, so we're doing that. With that, we're not doing any other like scheduled outing or anything. We're just gonna be looking around on our own. And now looking, like, as we're seeing things that, I don't know, we're just like, maybe we should have just done 3 days instead of 4 days there, but oh well. And then, yeah, we fly home, and then it's my birthday the following day after we get home. Yay. So I'm so excited. I've never been on Norwegian, so hopefully it's as fun as Carnival, although perhaps not, but thing was, we still wanted one, like, we didn't want to do a river cruise because those are a little bit more to the older crowd, not to mention they're so much more expensive. So yeah, the one thing I am sad about is that Norwegian, they don't ever do formal night, which that was something I loved cruising with Carnival, was that 2 nights was, and you didn't have to do formal night, but if you chose to go in the dining room, you got dressed up. So I guess I'm not going to take any, like, I never took like gowns and stuff, but I took like cocktail dresses. So I think I'm gonna take like some summer sundresses, but not like full gowns. Yeah. And so I also am going to be vlogging a little bit. I talked to Dan and I was like, you know, I know it's our honeymoon, so I'm not going to be doing like, maybe not as much as other vlogging vacations I've done. But I'm like, it's also, like, I enjoy looking back for us too. You know, I get to see, oh, we did that on that day. You know, and obviously we have photos, but I like vlogging and I like looking back at our videos. So he's like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. So we're gonna do a little bit of vlogging. It may not be like a ton of like commentary all the time and, oh, we're gonna do this, now look at this. But just kind of showing all around, because I'd probably be taking video anyways, so now I get to vlog it. As well as I'll show our Airbnb tours as well. And then, well, I should do what I did in Paris. We did like a grocery haul, so maybe I'll do a Rome grocery haul or Venice grocery haul. We'll see. Neither of us know any Italian, so that's going to be a little challenging. When we went to Paris, at least Dan, he knows a lot of French, so I was like, oh good, I'll just let you navigate where we're supposed to go and ask things. So we have like a translator app, and he's trying to memorize things of how to say. But however, there's one thing we were practicing, and he was saying like, oh, my wife is a vegetarian, and then one thing was, is there any meat in it? However, the word meat is very similar to the word dog. So then he practiced, is there any meat in this dish? And then he said it, and then it like auto-translated back, and what he said was actually, is there any dog in this dish? I was like, oh my gosh. So still have some practicing to go, but we're working on it and saying, I don't speak Italian, I speak English, so we're practicing. However, I'm like, we'll probably like say our couple like phrases that we know in Italian, and they'll be like, oh, you're clearly not Italian, let me speak to you in like practically fluent English. So, but I hope, like we do when we travel, especially to a different country, we try to like learn as much as we can ahead of time. Like, well, we wish we knew more Italian, but also like the culture, like I know when you go to any of the like places of worship, you have to have your shoulders covered as well as your knees covered. So I'm kind of planning how to do that in like really hot weather. But I've read a lot, like people just take like a scarf just to put around your shoulders when you go in. And then I guess I'll try to do something with that. I'm not having, obviously don't wear short shorts, but I still have shorts, so then something that covers a little bit longer, so I'll have to see. But yeah, I'm really worried about pickpockets and all that stuff. I do have a bag. It's totally not attractive. It looks ugly, but you know, if it keeps all my stuff safe, then that's what's worth it. It has like a little kind of clip as well, like the zipper, and then you clip it, and then it's like an anti-cutting band, like I don't know, whatever, like thing that goes around your body, crossbody band, and a whole bunch of things like that. So, and then my mom gave me a vest as well that it has lots of pockets inside. So very thoughtful. I'm like, I look like I'm going on a safari trip. However, again, I was like, looking good or not having all of my money and phone stolen? Probably not having my things stolen. That's the better plan. Yeah. So that is our trip. Thank you for watching this video, and if you have any tricks and tips for, well, Norwegian cruises or being in Rome or Venice, or things that we must see, I'm looking forward to having a lot of gelato. And then yeah, just let me know. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.